Welcome to the Firebird Fan, the official podcast of the University of the District of Columbia Athletics. I'm your host, Eric Zedalis. My former co-host and Associate Director of Athletics, Matt Rienzo, has left his post at UDC to take on the role of Director of Marketing for the NHL's Washington Capitals. The Firebird family wishes him the best of luck in all his future endeavors. We've got a great show for you today. We'll be joined by our men's and women's head basketball coaches, Mike Riley and Lester Butler Jr., to talk about the start of their respective 2014-15 seasons. So let's get going, and thanks for joining us on the Firebird Fan.
Ain't it fun?
We're joined by a head men's basketball coach, Mike Riley. He's in his second year as coach of the Firebirds. So, Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mike, going back, you were hired in the summer of 2013 and didn't have a lot of time to recruit or implement your system, prepare for your first season. How much different is it not only entering your second year of coaching, but really your first full year in terms of recruiting and preparing for a season?
Well, you know, after we had the first year and we went through the process with all the injuries, I said if anything this year, we was going to make sure we had numbers. So going into the season, I knew I would have enough numbers of guys to put on the floor to play, to represent the university, but also would have enough guys to practice,
right.
Which last year, because of injuries, we didn't even get an opportunity to practice 5-on-5. We were just practicing really 3-on-3. It got to the point because we had about 6 players. So I felt better in the sense that we had people that we could actually each day go out and try to get better by practicing 5-on-5 or practicing offense against defense.
Right. And do you see that? Do you see that change? Are they getting better because they're able to play 5-on-5?
Well, yes, we are getting better. You know, it hasn't translated into wins and losses as of yet with 3 games, but we are getting better. And if you get an opportunity to practice every day, and we have better players, and so with that, with them practicing each other, we will get better as the season continues to go on.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the start of this season. The team has dropped its first 3 games of the year. 2 of those losses came to U Sciences, which is ranked number 5 in the East region, and Bowie State, which is ranked number 3 in their Atlantic region. It's been a very challenging start to the season, and sandwiched in between those 2 games was a 4-point overtime loss to Goldie Beacom, where you guys led by as many as 20 points in the first half, only to let that game get away. Tell me, what are your thoughts as to how the team's playing early on?
Right now, inconsistent. You know, we do some things that are good, and we do some things that are not so good. Mm-hmm. And you have, you know, a lot of the players that playing, they actually have not played in this system for me. Not only are players that are here for the first year, but players that were here that didn't play last year, got an opportunity, that were hurt. It's their first year. So you're trying to blend those guys together and trying to make something good happen from that. And it takes some time, and that's why I try to tell them. I mean, we've had opportunities, as you mentioned in the Goldie Beacom game, to do some really good things, and we did for a while, but then it broke down, and they wound up coming back, and they caught us in overtime. So there's some glimmer of hope for sure in there.
You know, that said, then that's a good segue. Moving forward, you guys have 2 more home games in a row against Nyack and Virginia State. Then you travel to Philadelphia to take on Chestnut Hill, right? That closes out the month in November. What's your message to the team moving forward?
Well, we got to keep getting better at the things that we're doing and continue to do those things. And so when you start to lose, which we have at the beginning of the season, 3 games in a row, what happens is that confidence starts to go, you know, and so you have to remind players that it's early, we're trying to blend together, but with young people, it's difficult. Some people think, well, I've got to take it on my shoulders, especially the seniors. I've got to take it on my shoulders, and I've got to make something happen. And in one sense, that's true, but in another sense, they got to continue to do things as a team because that's more important. And so, and they got to lead the young guys that They're here, they're not familiar with the territory of, going to practice. It's a process of having to play basketball at the collegiate level and go to classes, do papers. The time off that you have that you think is time off is not time off. So the message out is stick together and continue to do some of the things that we're doing, just better.
Okay. And could you talk about some of your seniors? You got Mike Terry, you've got Queston Jones back after they both missed the majority of the season last year. What does it do for your team to have those guys back?
Well, it's great because the leadership that they have, and they've been around the block, so to speak, a little bit. They played collegiately under a different coach, but still they understand what you have to do in order to get better. They understand what you have to do in order to make things happen, and so they wind up talking to a lot of the younger guys, and the younger guys look up to those guys. So it's great to have them back, but at the same token, they're still learning the system too, or also because of the fact that this is all kind of new to them because although they played, I think both of them played a few games, we didn't get an opportunity to go through a complete season. And as the season goes, you do make adjustments and changes with things, and we will continue to do that this year also.
And it's very quickly, can you talk about some of your new additions to the team this year?
Well, we have Corey Cooley, that's a local guy that's from here, Massanutten Boot Plan, that's from up in New Jersey. Those guys are guards. They've come in and they're battling, trying to get minutes and time. Both of them, I think, are pretty good players. Both of them come from programs where they won. So we're trying to blend those guys in with the older guys. Eric Zedalis is from junior college. He's played and he understands things a little bit more because he's had more time. But again, he's trying to learn the system. We have Andre Williams from up in New York, and we have Joe Thomas or Joe Robinson. Thomas Robinson is actually his name. We call him Joe. He's from Philadelphia, and those guys are going to be contributors throughout the year. We like the way they have shown in practice, and with the games that we've had those. Although Joe has been hurt, again we've hit a little bit with the injury bug again this year. But
right.
Still, we think that all of them we think is going to contribute throughout the year.
And last question, what are your plans for Thanksgiving this year?
Well, Thanksgiving, we always have people around the house, but I'm going to actually get a couple of the kids that are out of town because we are caught in between games during that time. We have to travel to leave the day after to go to Chestnut Hill. We're going to have some guys here, and I plan to take them out for Thanksgiving. We're going to try to divide them out and take them to get something to eat.
Sounds great. Well, thanks for joining us today, Coach. Stay tuned. There's more to come.
Thank you.
Now we welcome head coach Lester J. Butler onto the show. Jay is in his 11th season as head coach of the Firebirds women's basketball team and is the all-time winningest coach in program history with over 100 career wins. His team is coming off the school's first East Coast Conference basketball championship and the program's second NCAA Division II tournament berth in the last 3 years. Firebirds are the favorites to repeat as ECC champions, receiving votes for the WBCA Top 25 national poll. And a lot of people in Division II are clamoring about what kind of damage this team could do if it made a return trip to the NCAA tournament this season. But first you have to get there, right, Jay?
Right.
So it's a little different than last year where you entered the season a little under the radar. Is the team embracing this limelight, or dare I say the bullseye on their backs?
I think they like it, to get the recognition for being, ranked in the top 25 or receiving votes, being picked to finish first in the conference. They felt like the last couple of years that, we were going to be the team to beat, and we got picked sometimes 7th and 5th. So this year to be picked first is kind of, the recognition for winning the championship, and they eager to get back to the championship.
All right, let's talk now a little bit about how this season is going. You guys are off to a really hot start. You're 3-0 and just dominating teams right now, including a preseason number 25 ranked Virginia State in your home opener on Wednesday night. You're winning games by an average 22 points per game. Take us through your thoughts on how the season's going so far.
The season's going pretty well. I think right now when you got 9 kids returning off that championship team, NCAA team, the chemistry's there. We added a couple new pieces that kind of strengthen our bench. And right now we can go 9, 10, 11 deep. And they're playing extremely well on the offensive end. We still talking, getting down the ins and outs on the defensive end, because that's what we want to do. We want to press and get up and down the floor. And right now, offensively, we're shooting the ball extremely well. And with Talisha Turner, Danica Brand, and Bria White, those three, that's a tough combo. It's a tough three players to match up with. And then we got kids like Shakina Williams Sr. and Dominique Carr also coming off, and they're averaging right up under double figures. So we got a lot of scoring points. We're just trying to concentrate on that defense end and rebounding the basketball.
Right, and talk about how your depth allows you to really get after teams. You guys are forcing over 20 turnovers a game right now.
Right. We're just, with the pressure, we just try to send in multiple players and try to wear teams down. And hopefully once we get around that second half, the team, start to slow down, the shots start to fall a little short, the passes will get a little weaker, and then that way we can get into the passing lanes and get kind of clean steals and get out and get on that fast break and get points in transition.
Okay. Now, your schedule gets pretty tough as you close out this beginning non-conference portion of the schedule. You've got Bloomfield, Shaw, Southern Connecticut, and American International. The latter 3 of these games are on the road. What's your approach as you enter into these games?
Right now, we're just trying to take it one game at a time. Bloomfield's preseason Division II bulletin, I think they number 21 in the country. They was an NCAA team. So right now, we're just
almost knocked off Bentley.
Bentley in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Scrappy team, played tough defense. Pretty similar to us.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a good basketball game. But when you're on the road, we try to tell the kids the recipe for making the NCAA is, you want to take care of your home and try to go 500 on the road. But, of course, every time we get on the road, we're looking to try to steal one. And Shaw University traditionally is one of the top teams in the country. And you're talking about American International and Southern Connecticut, just in that tough Northeast region, Northeast Conference, which is, one of the top conferences in the country. So it'll be a tough road trip, but I think the young ladies just take it one game at a time. And right now, we're just trying to get the 4-0.
Okay. And last question, you got any Thanksgiving plans?
The kids are going to be here because we pull out the next day. So we're actually going to have Thanksgiving together this year. So that should be pretty good.
Nice. Very nice.
I'm excited about that.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have today on the Firebird Fan. Coach, thanks for joining us today. And I'd like to thank Mike Riley, a men's basketball coach as well, and our intern, Michael Wheel. Please check us out on our social media. Facebook page is UDC Athletics. Twitter handle is @UDC Firebird Fans. And our YouTube page, UDC Athletics 1. Thanks for joining us on the Firebird Fan. Have a happy Thanksgiving.